There are always voices and advocates in a political process. The question is, who are the voices and what are the messages that are being presented? And if your voice, for whatever it is you are caring about, you are advocating for, or you are funding, is not a strong enough voice in that process, then the information that's coming through that process to educate the decision makers, the lawmakers, the rule makers, is skewed. And it's skewed in a way that isn't helpful to the objectives that you're trying to reach. And so if for any other reason, that's why it's so important to opt in and not opt out of the political process. I always have to remind folks that with any individual lawmaker, you may find somebody who is an expert on a particular issue. But overall, as a body, lawmakers are generalists. They get their information from the experts outside of their body. They get their priorities from the pressures outside of the body. A legislative body is never a proactive entity. It's a reactive entity. And if it is not hearing, if legislators are not hearing from their constituents that I want you to make this issue a priority, it's not going to get made a priority because there are thousands of issues out there and only a couple of dozen that will make its way through the process in any given legislative term. So again, the organized voices of the issues that you care about and the goals that you're trying to accomplish, if they're not up there in Harrisburg, in Washington, at the local city or borough council area legislative body being heard, somebody else's voice is being heard and the message isn't necessarily balanced. Let me conclude with this last thought. When I talk to nonprofit leaders, and I did a lot in my legislative capacity, they understood the importance of being involved in public policy arena and the advocacy. They got it that they needed to do that, but they seldom got around to it. And the reason they didn't get around to it, quite frankly, is, I believe, a capacity issue. Nobody is funding them to make this a priority. That's where you can make a real difference and really see those reports that you commission and those activities that you support really, really go the next 9 yards, is by focusing a little bit more or setting a higher priority for you and for those organizations on the ongoing advocacy piece.